Okay, looks like we laugh. We are. Hello and welcome, plant friends and family. Welcome to Fruits of My Desires. I am Desiree. And today it is time to teach you how to build your own 4x4 foot, 4 foot, by 4 foot raised bed garden. I got into doing raised bed gardens because, number one, I'm getting older, and digging up grass and tilling an area just to start a garden was not what I wanted to do with my back and my knees, okay? With raised bed gardens, this is just the outline. None of this is drilled in yet. But with this, you can actually like set it up, put it down, you put some material over the grass, and you allow the grass to break down over time. The grass kind of will serve as fertilizer for you as well. When doing compost, you know, this is a portion of the greens that you can add to your compost pile, grass. So instead of digging everything up, we're gonna make this thing work for us, okay? And I just feel like it gives a nice aesthetic to your backyard. You don't necessarily, this right here is pressure treated pine wood. You don't necessarily have to use pressure treated pine. I use this because it's beneficial, and prior to COVID, it was one of the most cost-effective items that you could get. You can do cedar, and you can also do redwood as well. The cedar lasts a little longer than pressure treated pine. Pressure treated pine will give you like maybe 10 years, whereas cedar can give you up to 20 years. Redwood as well. The thing is because there is a lumber shortage right now. The cost of everything has tripled, and the demand and supply, well, the supply and demand is a little off. So you'll be able to find pressure treated pine, but as far as cedar and redwood, not so much. So prior to COVID-19, so this 4 foot by 4 foot bed was literally 2 8-foot slabs, okay, or slats. And what I had them do is cut it in half. So if you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or wherever you get wood, you would get a 2 by 8 by 8. And what that is 2 inches across, 8 foot on one side, and 8 foot on the other side. That's all that is. And I got 2 of those and just had them cut them in half. Once they cut them in half, you're good to go. Prior to COVID, I think that for one 8-foot slat, it probably would cost me like maybe $3. Now it's between $9 and $11, depending on where you go. And for the amount of beds you build, the cost can like add up rather quickly. So and the size matters as well. Now they will cut wood for you for free. They even have sections where you can get the wood pre-cut and all that great stuff, so you don't have to worry about it. I got these pre-cut, so I didn't have to ask anybody to do anything for me. That's also another thing. During COVID, the wood cutters in my location now, so I didn't have time for that, so I just go to the scrap pile and get the scraps. Oh, I just got smacked in the head by one of these. So yeah, that's the main part of this, okay? As far as what you also need for this process, you're going to need a power drill. This is my Black & Decker power drill. Getting ready to upgrade this because we've been doing a lot with this, and I'm starting to notice that it doesn't have as much torque as I would like it to have. So it's time to upgrade to one with a little more horsepower behind it, but it's still ready and to do the job. So next thing that you'll need is 4-inch deck screws. You want 4-inch deck screws because you want something that's going to be long enough to go inside and grip your wood and hold it together for a amount of years. I built that raised bed garden that I've been showcasing on my page about 4.5 years ago, and it's still holding up. I used same little screws, same little box, from 4.5 years ago. And again, they are deck screws, so they are coarse and meant for outdoor projects. They can get wet, they won't rust, all that great stuff. Now, you'll also need, and I may say this wrong, but I want to say this is 16 by 64 inch drill bit. Is it? No, it's 11 by 64 inch. Okay, so this is what you need for a 4-inch deck screw. If you don't know, the dimensions of drill bits and all that great stuff, the trick I was taught as a youngin' when it comes to these things is to like pair it up to the actual nail. And if you can still see the grooves of the nail on the sides here, like you can here, then this is perfect, because you want to do a pre-hole and then put your nail in so it can still grip your wood. Okay, so get something that's a little smaller than your nail, and like I said, if you put it up like that, you can see the grooves on the sides of the drill bit. So this is perfect. You also are going to need some gloves. Okay, you do not want to do this procedure without gloves, because you're dealing with wood. You can get splinters, you may smash your fingers, all that great stuff. As you all know, I typically don't like gloves, but when I'm building raised beds, I definitely have these on. When it comes to and a Phillips, so you can go ahead and drive everything in. You could drive not everything, but the nail into the wood. When it comes to after you get your bed together, I'm already in the location that I want to have my garden beds in. As you notice, this area has a lot of sun. The sun typically stays over here all day. I needed an area with full coverage of sun, and this is it. Okay, so once we get everything together, since it's in the spot I want it in, I am going to lay newspaper down on the bottom, and that is going to cover up this grass and what have you not. Now again, when it comes to newspaper is excellent for composting and all that great stuff. This ink here is soy based. I'm not allergic to soy, no one in my house is, so we're gonna go ahead and use this as our ground cover, and like I said, over time it'll break down and it'll break the grass down as well. When it comes to the soil, in my wheelbarrow back there, I have a variation of soil that I've used for other things, whether it's soil from things I grew last fall, or things that I attempted to grow in the spring and it just did not happen. All the soil amendments in there. There's even some old potting mix in there too. Okay, what I'm gonna do is dump that in. I got some compost and manure, a bag in the back, and I also have some peat, and I have some garden lime to neutralize the peat, and some all-purpose granular plant food that I'm going to throw in there, and that is going to be the start of my garden. Okay, and yeah, that's that. So I have 2 of these beds that I am going to put together. I'm going to do one on camera so you guys can see, and yeah, so let's get started. If you want to, you can also get you a marker for this process too, so you can mark where you need to drill on the wood. So let's get started. Okay, so the beginning part of this I've already started on. Is pre-hole. So remember the drill bits that I told you about. You're going to need to put 3 deck screws in here, but what you don't want to do is put on your Phillips to your drill bit and just try to drill this in here. You risk splitting your wood, and you don't want to do that. Again, we want this to last a little bit, so that's the purpose of pre-drilling with your 11 by 64 inch drill bit. So you go ahead and pre-drill 3 holes. I did this side and that side, and I've also done it in here because this is where your nail is going to go. So I kind of got a little sloppy with this, but that's okay. Go ahead and pre-drill 3 holes in here. And then you're going to go on the bottom of here and pre-drill 3 holes there. You're going to pre-drill 3 holes on the inside. You're going to go to the piece in the back, pre-drill 3 holes. Go on the other end of the piece in the back, pre-drill 3 holes. For your side piece, you're going to pre-drill 3 holes in the back. And then in the front, you're going to do the exact same thing, excuse me, with 3 holes here, okay? So you should have, let me sit up. Your side pieces should have 3 holes here and on the back side of this. And your front and back pieces should have 3 holes on the front and 3 holes on the front of the other piece. And the same for 3 holes on the front and then 3 holes on the front. So the 2 side pieces, put them on the sides, put your 6 holes on your sides, excuse me, and your front pieces, put your 6 holes on the front. Okay, so now it's time to screw our screws in. So I like to start with the middle nail just to make sure everything's even. And go ahead and put my glove back on. Pause for the cause a little bit. All right. And I like to take it slow, just initially get the screw in there, and then push. You can do top or bottom. I'll do bottom. Make sure it's on the outside. There we go. Move the grass. Probably should have waited until I got my grass cut, but whatever. Take it slow. Make sure it's in. Down there at home. Last screw. Take it slow. Grab it on in. And bam! That is how you build a raised bed garden. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish up the other sides, and then I'll give you the finished product. Peace.